Let's see what this new tool does on this car. I know it's a bit bright. Let's see what you can see it there. I'm struggling to know where to put the buttons because it's gone dark. So I was sent this kingbolen, and it's a YA100. Gonna see what it's on. The engine light's on. There's 4 fault codes. Let's see what it says they are. Read the codes. Stored. Throttle actuator control. What else do we have? So that's a motor. It's a circuit low fault. Throttle actuator again. Stuck open. Throttle actuator control motor circuit range performance. And whatever that is. So that's quite useful. It's told us a few things there. Let's come out of that. I know it's hard to get it in focus because of the light, working at night. Let's see pending fault codes. What do we have there? I can hit the right buttons in the dark. I've only got one. ISO SAE. Whatever that means. So I'll make a note of them. So what I noticed now is in red it tells me the P code, what it actually is in a P code. So we can go through them. We've got the 2102, 2111, 2101. And it tells you what they mean. Throttle position. Let's see what if I go back and go into the live data, what would that say? Oh, we've got freeze frame. Let's see what that says. See if we can diagnose it with this little tool. Well, look at that map sensor. Oh yeah, that's not live. Yeah, I'm looking at freeze frame. So a little bit of boost. Do we have anything for the throttle position? Yeah, 88% open. Okay, let's come out of this. Look at the live data, see what it's saying now. Right. Throttle position, it's still at 88%, so that thing with diesel, it does stay open, but that's it's not fully open and it's not closed. But we should see that close and come back open after we switch it off, on and off. Let's see if I can get that to happen. If I can start the car, I might have to hit the clutch. No, I didn't. It started. I don't get to graph on this one, it's just the same all the time. Just bear with me. Gonna switch it off and that should close on a diesel. And then open again, and we didn't see anything happen there. It's still 88%, so it looks like the throttle position. We're not talking about the pedal, the accelerator, it's the throttle position. Is stuck at the same place. It's not doing anything, which matches the fault codes. There's the EGR, that one, next to the throttle body, next to the manifold. But the one before it is the throttle body. Now, I have unplugged it, it wasn't like that. But one thing that I did notice was when I unplugged it, the plug's full of engine oil. And there's also a lot of engine oil coming from around it. So I think, yeah, that's coming through here. That's full of engine oil. If I could get that. It's actually coming through there, so we shouldn't have engine oil in that. So it needs a throttle body, so that's quite an easy one. Don't always replace a part based on a code read, but sometimes it is correct. And in this case, that little scan tool pointed us to the right direction. Looks like the dipstick's not been all the way, which could be something spraying out, but still it wouldn't make any sense why there's oil on the other side of those pins. So we've got a fault with that. I might just try cleaning it, see if I can clear the fault code, and if it comes back after that, we're going to have to replace them. So now, I've cleaned out in there. I don't know if you can see that. No, I can't get it in the picture. I've also cleaned out this plug. I'm not doing very good with the filming in the dark, but they are clean. I mean, the contacts in the plug. I didn't physically take the throttle body off and clean that out. Also, the plug doesn't plug on and stay on. I think somebody's already had a look at this. it's not going on and staying on. Somebody's already maybe had a look. I need to get that to stay on there and then try and clear the fault codes. Okay, now I've got it back on, it's clicked on, it's secure, and it's clean. Let's see what the code reader does now. So I've still got the flashy lights on the dash. So we're showing the engine light, a flashing glow plug, and the DPF lights on the particulate filter. Now I'm going to go back to this and see what fault codes we have. It's quite quick at getting that. Let's go into there, read the codes, stored codes. So we'll have the same ones. I'm going to try and clear the fault codes. Race codes. I'm going to have to switch the engine off actually. I didn't say to do it, but I'm going to do it. So we'll OK that. We'll try and erase them again. So it says they've been cleared, but on the dash they're still flashing. So we'll OK that. Let's read the codes. Stored codes. No codes. We've still got the flashing light on the dash, which doesn't help us. Pending. Still got the DPF one. So that's all we've got. The soot content. This is going to need a regen, I think. Got the flashing glow plug and the DPF light. That's the only thing. The soot content. That's what the 2463 equated to. So that's not too bad. We've managed to get it. We can't do a regen with this, but now that everything's working properly, it might just do that on its own when they start driving it. What I'm doing now is connecting the power probe, if you can hear me, into here. I'll maybe voice over afterwards, might be easier. Checking the wires on this one to make sure there's no faults with that. First one that I'm in is a fat wire, 14 volts, and the min and the max are about the same as each other. So this second wire that's another fat wire, these will both be for the motor on the throttle. That one's a little lower at 12 volts with 0 to 15, so that'll be getting switched on and off to help control the throttle to be in a certain place. Checking the last three wires. The first one's a ground, and the green light on the power probe, and it's a ground. These are thinner wires. The next wire is 4 volts, so that's probably a signal. And the last one, I'm hoping that's 5 volts, and then that'll be the 5 volt supply. So it's got 5 volt supply for this sensor side of the motor, and it is. So now we know we've got a ground, 5 volt supply and a signal. And we know the motor's working and being controlled, so it doesn't look like a wiring fault. So what I can do is see what's happening with this. This throttle body on this one, when I switch the car off, it should close. When it closes, we're going to see it change from 4.3 volts, it should close to about half a volt, somewhere around there. So I'm going to try that a few times just to see if this is intermittent, see if cleaning those wires that I have done with brake cleaner, see if it's done anything to help it. Each time I switch this off, I should see it close the throttle plate, and we'll see this go to nearly half a volt. Only for a moment, and then it'll open again. It is an intermittent fault though, so hopefully it's going to be okay. If not, we'll have to replace the throttle body that I've cleaned out. It's still going to need one, so I haven't fixed the leak coming through the wires. That one went down to 0.6 of a volt, which is probably about right. A little higher than 0.5, but see the next one I did was 0.9, so that's a little higher, maybe a bit too high. I'm going to try it a few more times and see what happens here. Just switching off and on, see if it stays the same. Sometimes it's not moving like it should do, sometimes it's not seeming to move at all. Like it's saying, I need to change it anyway because it's leaking oil, but I just thought I'd watch it so that I could see on here it's definitely faulty as well. Main thing, I didn't want to just say it was going to be a throttle body and then it ends up being a wiring problem as well. But wiring's okay, I'm pretty sure of that. It just looks like the throttle body sometimes doesn't close as much as other times. Sometimes it's working okay, but it's not right anyway. So I'm going to have to change that. So right now we don't have the engine light. It still needs a DPF regen or a drive for that, but it's not showing any fault codes there. We'll come back out and rescan for a fault code. No codes. Let's go into pending. It's just the same one, and that one there, the P2463 was the soot content in the DPF. So that's not been done. What's in permanent? No code, so back into stored, nothing there. So that's handy. Nothing in the, no codes in there, it's only in the pending. My hands aren't working too well now. Pending. Go into there and we can see a bit more information, and that equated to the DPF, and we've got the 2463. We might be able to do a code lookup and see what that says. No engine light, but if we look at this, I'm going to do some switching off and on again, but that 4 volts should go down to 0.6. That seems to be when it was happy. Off. Well, 0.9, a little bit higher. Some of that could just be down to how quick this can read it, but there's no engine light still. I'll try it again. Try and get you in focus. No, it's there. Off. Yeah, 0.6, so it was happy that time. The fact that that's changing means that it must be happy. See, the engine light's back on. I was going to say it must be not happy, but it must be getting a... Can get this into focus? There. The fact that that is moving means that it must be being controlled center signal, so I would think the wires are okay, but the fact that there's oil coming through it isn't great. So now we can go back into stored codes, and we have the soot content come back. That's the only one. Let's go back into pending. Now we've got 2, so the throttle actuator, it's seen it once, it wasn't quite where it wanted it to be. And I think some of that's just the oil coming out of the throttle body and into the wiring harness. It's getting into the electronics in the throttle body and it shouldn't be in there. So it's going to need a throttle body and then a DPF regen. That's the diagnosis for this, but we managed to do it pretty much with this. I'm fine for doing the diag all on its own. Hopefully that's useful to somebody. Thanks for watching.